and crumpled. Now you kind of look at them like scoundrels. What won't you do for that damn career? Listen, this is a disgusting business. That's all I'm gonna say. This business is so disgusting that I can't. I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are master manipulators.
When Jay was going after B was a very young...
Each other and you respect each other's music. You know, it's always that conversation, yo, we gotta do something. You know that.
Right.
You know, the time filler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When that time filler turns into something real, then it's...
The picture that is becoming more and more clear is that we aren't just looking at a bunch of wealthy creeps operating with total impunity. We are looking at a massive criminal network that may be responsible for the rape and murder of hundreds of women.
They thought they ended our girl Wendy, but baby, she's back again. And she's not letting her foot off Beyonce's neck. It turns out that Jay-Z wasn't the only one in those Epstein files. Both he and Beyonce are in there, and the things they did will have you shook. If Beyonce thought Wendy exposing her alleged fake pregnancy back in 2011 was bad, then I already know she's going to hate Wendy for the things she has on her, especially all her dirty dealings with people like Epstein and Diddy. Okay, so as y'all know, Beyonce and Jay-Z have been getting dragged through the pits of hell these last few days, and it doesn't look like it will be slowing down anytime soon. Initially, it was just people dragging Jay-Z, who was named in the Epstein files. According to an anonymous victim who called the FBI hotline, she claims she once woke up in a room with Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein. Harvey had his finger in her vajayjay doing inappropriate things to her while she was unconscious, while Jay-Z allegedly sat there watching. And she also accused Pusha T of being a handler who facilitated the act. Now, people weren't really surprised to hear that Jay-Z was doing things like this, because he seems to have deep ties with every industry creep you can think of. However, people couldn't help but wonder if Beyonce was also somehow involved in this. And just when you thought things could not get any worse, DOJ released a new list naming all the individuals who are present in the files, and Beyonce's name is right there. And this led people to dig deeper to find out what else Beyonce has been hiding. And baby, the receipts are nasty. In fact, people found out that she allegedly knows something about the death of Jay-Z's dead pregnant mistress, Kathy White. And guess what? Wendy Williams exposed her for it back when it happened. Apparently, Kathy was Jay-Z and Beyonce's surrogate the whole time Beyonce was claiming she was pregnant with Blue Ivy. However, after Kathy gave birth, they removed he and claimed Blue as hers. And since then, she has referenced it in multiple songs. For example, in 2024, Beyonce released her song, Daughter, which people believe is a blatant confession to her allegedly taking Kathy's life and then stealing Blue Ivy from her right after.
Allegedly, the song Daughter on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album, it's potentially a murder confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Kathy White.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book, Bling, and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You Sean,
Hey, man.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
But here's where things get interesting. Even before all this stuff came out, Wendy had already clocked Beyoncé. Now, some of y'all might not remember this, but back in 2011, Beyoncé had the internet in shambles when her supposed bump literally folded and crumbled on national television. And the crazy thing is that even though we all literally watched this happen in real time, her team still dared to try to do damage control by using these photos of her in a bikini to prove that her bump was real. Mind you, the photos they used looked like those of any woman who had a little too much to eat at Thanksgiving. Girl, a lot of people did not buy it, and that included Wendy. She got on her show the very next day, dragged Beyoncé for filth for allegedly faking her pregnancy. Wendy even went as far as bringing up Kathy White. And honestly, this was very risky because at the time, no mainstream media was saying anything at all about her. The topic was Kathy was just one of those things that if you knew, you knew. If you didn't, then you simply didn't.
His pregnancy is a way of keeping Jay-Z's alleged mistress away. Beyonce is going to use a surrogate so she can maintain her body, but they're going to play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth.
Oh, and Wendy didn't lie about Beyoncé only having 3 people in the room when she supposedly gave birth, because it's very similar to what actually happened. Beyoncé reportedly paid the hospital over $1.3 million to have the entire floor of the hospital just to give birth. What at all could Beyoncé be hiding that she had to pay $1.3 million to have the entire floor to herself? And one of the most damning incidents involves Jay-Z's ex-best friend Larry Johnson, who said he saw Beyoncé at a party that involved not of legal age people. Larry and Jay-Z were close back in the day, until that relationship mysteriously fell apart. And here's where it gets interesting. The fallout happened right after Larry started speaking openly about who he believes pulls the strings in the entertainment world. He says that in the early 2000s, he went to a late-night rap party hosted by the Carters in Colorado. And according to him, there were young people there who didn't look like adults, and Beyoncé allegedly made a very weird comment.
Now, I did a Rockaware photo shoot in Colorado, and I think it was during the winter time of 06 or 07. And Naomi Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there, and he rented this house. And we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house, and we were watching LeBron play. And after the game, it had to been like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. Mind you, it's all adults, which I can respect that. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild, like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy, or isn't this sexy? And in my mind, and mind you, I'm not awakened as I'm awakened now. So in my mind, I'm like, what did she just say? And then I didn't pay no attention to it. And then, obviously the liquor took hold of me and I had to leave. So I said bye to everybody and left. But those kids remained. I don't know if those kids were from the photo shoot themselves, but the fact that these kids came around adults during drinking hours or partying hours was already alarming to me. So when I hear something like this happens, I can't really discount it and say, oh, he could never do this. Because I'm hearing stories, I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and I've been in situations where something don't sound or look right, and it's usually involving.
And don't forget Jaguar's time on Piers Morgan's show that almost got her in legal hot water with Jay-Z and Beyoncé. If y'all remember, she sat there on TV claiming that Beyoncé had something to do with Aaliyah's death.
Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter. to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping
Porter?
people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
And while we're on the topic of Aaliyah, let's talk about the speculation over the years that she was taken out to make room for Beyoncé's come-up. And even beyond that, there are also claims that Beyoncé was jealous of Aaliyah because Jay-Z only went after her after he couldn't get with Aaliyah. And honestly, the sketchy circumstances around Aaliyah's death definitely added more weight to these theories. First off, Aaliyah had no plans to get on that plane. She was supposedly given a sedative without her knowing. Then once she was knocked out, they put her on the plane, and that was it for her. Dame also spilled details about how Jay was trying to pursue something romantic with Aaliyah after her situation with R. Kelly. It seemed like him and R. Kelly had some kind of competition going to see if he could get with Aaliyah. According to what Dame said, Jay was sending her flowers and inviting her to parties, but she wasn't interested in any of it. But here's where it gets wild. There have also been rumors about Beyoncé indulging in some of these ritualistic practices that industry executives like Epstein and Diddy used to organize. Apparently, she and Jay-Z were regular participants, and they allegedly did it to retain their high ranking in that society. These allegations got worse when DaBaby appeared on Club Shay Shay and spilled the tea on the time he was invited to an alleged private party with Beyoncé and Jay-Z at Diddy's house.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib. Like the influx of people, he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know, right. Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, 2 of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Right. Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop, whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man.
Now, what made these claims even messier for Beyoncé was that right after DaBaby spoke out, the well-known lawyer Ariel Mitchell did an interview and hinted there might be footage of a very famous celeb and Diddy at a freak-off. Apparently, someone reached out to her asking for help selling a tape that showed Diddy and another celebrity. Ariel never actually said Beyoncé's name, but since her interview dropped right after DaBaby's conversation with Shannon, people put 2 and 2 together on their own.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and...
Correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I can't explain who the person was, but
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape and this other person is I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it? Or
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. He did that interview with the baby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shay. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house.
But check this out, y'all. Word on the street is Beyoncé is already making moves to protect herself, especially after the Epstein files dropped. Someone who says they're close to her spilled this info in a blind item. And let me tell you, the details are absolutely crazy. The source said, industry insiders have been whispering about this for a while. Singer has threatened to flee the country multiple times. She's done with the control, the pressure, and the handlers who make every decision for her. They're afraid she'll leave without notice, and they're right to be. Singer suffers from depression and has S-thoughts. Her team sees her as a danger to herself. But what they're really afraid of is losing their cash cow. They've kept her under control for years, but they won't be able to much longer. She's on the verge of rebelling. She's fed up with her mother's control. She's tired of her husband's influence. But here's the real tea. She knows what happened to her idol when he tried to break free. She's afraid of the same fate. That's why she's quietly making moves, setting up her escape, and ensuring that when she finally disappears, she won't be forced to come back. I'm just saying, if she suddenly cancels shows or starts spending more time overseas, just know it's not just for fun. Believe what you want, but when it all comes out, remember this post. These claims from the blind item also match up perfectly with what the well-known YouTuber Storm Monroe said a while back, suggesting that Beyoncé might divorce Jay-Z to save herself when everything blows up.
Part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out, and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay? And she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah, 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 blah. Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour. We may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're gonna do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she knows.
And I'm sure y'all have also heard all those allegations from several of Beyonce's ex-employees that allege that she is one of the most highest-ranking priestess in the industry, and she has power to end people.
This has been going on since 2006, and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And for a very long time, I put this person on a pedestal. I loved them. I'd send emails, publicly, happy birthday and all this stuff. And the entire time, this person was casting spells and manipulating me and controlling my job situations, my relationships, just all kinds of things.
And trust, Wendy has receipts on all of this. Mind you, ever since her radio career, Wendy had insiders who would give her all these info on people with actual proof. And allegedly, she knew all about Diddy, Beyonce, Epstein scandal, and what was happening. She was also too scared, because you know the industry has power to silence people. And with whatever that happened to Wendy, it would not be too crazy if someone got her. Like she was falsely accused of having dementia. That tells a lot. As usual, people had their thoughts like this person who said, Beyonce is just as guilty as Jay-Z. She knew exactly what he was doing. They deserve prison. Another person said, I don't feel bad for Beyonce as if Jay is bringing her down. She's just as guilty. But now I want your thoughts. What do you think about Wendy Williams exposing Beyonce? And do you really think she was as involved in all